New 6 is brought to you by this station and by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation.
Today on New 6, we'll introduce you to a sport that'll get you hopping. We'll go back into the past through a general store, and we'll show you how you can trace your ancestors. Hi, and welcome to News 6. I'm Joelle Dreyer from Pemberville Elementary School in Pemberville, Ohio. Here with a look at a one-stop shop is Jason Getter.
Travel down a road in any good-sized town and you're sure to see several different stores. Shoe stores, grocery stores, toy stores. But back in the past, stores did not specialize in selling any one item. Stores sold a little bit of everything. There's still a store like that in Pemberville, a store that has been in business for over 100 years. It's Beaker's General Store. Truly, a step back in time.
Walking into Beaker's General Store in Pemberville is like walking through a time warp back into the 19th century. Mildred Beaker has owned the general store for the last 35 years. She inherited the store from her father, who worked at the store for 45 years. The store has retained its character with many of the same types of items available in the shop today as it was 30 years ago.
I sell lots of different items because it was started this way. But the newest things that I have had the last 2 years or 3 years is Barbie clothes and Cabbage Patch clothes for dolls. And I also have Cabbage Patch clothes for baby or boy dolls now. I sell quite a bit of doll furniture that Paul Daly makes. I really don't know how many different kind of items I sell here. I've never counted them. I take inventory, but I never count all the different kinds I have, because I have from little houseware to clothing, a few shoes, and rubbers and arctics, a few groceries, and clothing equipment. I would say that the people don't patronize you like they used to in the olden times. They go to these chain stores. When they want something special, then they come here.
Beaker's General Store is definitely a throwback to the past when life was so much simpler than the hectic 80s.
This week's show is produced by Rose Jones, Linda Dunmeyer, and Terry Hansen's 6th grade classes from Pemberville Elementary School in Pemberville, Ohio. Pemberville is located in Wood County, about 10 miles northeast of the city of Bowling Green. Pemberville was founded in 1833, and its present population is around 1,300 people. Now here's Jenny Smith with a profile on a true family detective.
About 10 years ago, Alex Haley wrote a popular book called Roots. The book traced the ancestors of Haley as far back as the 1700s. Roots caused many people to want to know more about their ancestors. One such lady was Laura King, a Pemberville resident who has traced her ancestors as far back as the 1500s.
Who are your ancestors? Where did they live? How far back in time can you trace your family roots? Genealogy is the study of family history, and Laura King is a professional genealogist. How did you get interested in becoming a genealogist?
I became interested in genealogy when I was a child. I was given a Bible as a gift, and in that Bible there was a spot in the middle, you know, where you can record your family lines, and I wanted to get that completed, so I talked to my parents, and they helped me a little bit with it. They really didn't know as much as I thought they might, but that started me out. When I had gotten every piece of information I could from my parents and grandparents, then I had to consult some other sources outside my family.
How far back in time have you traced your ancestors?
I've traced one of my family lines into Germany into about the middle 1500s. His name was Stefan Diefenbacher. Now that's a mouthful. And he was a lawyer in Germany. The first thing that a young person should do when they're interested in tracing their family tree is to talk to their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, if they're lucky enough to have them still with them. And after they've gotten all the information from them that they can find, to get a five-generation chart would be good enough to start with, and put all that information on that five-generation chart about their direct ancestors.
How long has it taken you to trace your family lineage?
It's taken me about 10 years to trace these generations as far back as I have gone, and I have some into the 13th and 14th generation.
Laura also teaches classes in genealogy, helping others to trace their own family history. Family roots do run deep, and people like Laura King help untangle the puzzles and riddles of who our ancestors were.
Now it's time for Kids View, a weekly feature in which kids get to say what is on their minds. This week's question is, what do you think you'll be doing in the year 2000? And it was submitted by Jamie Wilka, Stephanie Hall, and Kathy Voland. Here's what you had to say.
I'll have 4 kids and be a scientist in the year 2000.
In the year 2000, I'll be an auto mechanic.
I'm going to be a professional skier in the future.
In the year 2000, I want to be a science teacher.
I'm going to be a computer programmer in the year 2000.
In the future, I'd like to be a professional basketball player.
In the year 2000, I'd like to be an elementary math teacher.
If there are helicopters in the year 2000, I'd like to be a helicopter pilot.
I'm going to be a station technology controller for the Army.
In the year 2000, I will be relaxing on the beaches of Hawaii.
In 14 years, I'll be a running back for the Chicago Bears.
If you were to take a poll and ask people what their favorite sports are, I'm sure you'd hear answers like basketball and baseball. But if you were to take a poll at Pemberville Elementary, you might be surprised to hear of a sport called double dutch. What's double dutch? Here's a look.
Have you ever considered jump roping a sport? It's a sport to several Pemberville Elementary students, known as the Pemberville Sparklers. The Sparklers compete in a jump roping sport called double dutch. Double dutch is a jump rope activity in which 2 ropes are turned at the same time in an egg beater style by 2 turners while a third person, a jumper, jumps within the moving ropes. The Sparklers practice for an hour twice a week under the guidance of Linda Dunmeyer, Pat Klein, and Cheryl Voorhees. There are 3 major routines in double dutch. The first is compulsory, where jumpers turn, crisscross, and high step between the ropes. The second is the speed drill. Jumpers must jump as many times as they can in a 2-minute period. Judges score the time by how many times the jumper's left foot touches the ground. The third routine is the freestyle division. Jumpers make up tricks using such props as a ball or baton. Double dutch is the kind of sport that keeps kids on their toes. So, hop to it.
That's all for this week's show. We hope to see you again on News 6 real soon.
News 6 is brought to you by this station and by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation.